And then in closing, I think what I wanted to put out there, right? So I talked to a handful of folks in the last couple weeks that, either reached out to me or if I reached out to them, I want to, collaborate. So, whether that be, correction or coding or PPF, I got a couple folks on standby that, I think we can help each other. I like the process. I like, doing this stuff. So I've offered discounted rates in exchange for, sponsorships essentially. Tag me in posts. Should tell others that you like the results. You like what I did for your car. So I'm looking to sponsor a handful of cars within Charlotte. Obviously, I want to give you a quality product. I want to boost my reputation around the city, as well as just work on some cool cars. So let me know, ping me. Let's see what we can work out. Even as far as film goes, I've because I'm new to this, I'm not charging retail prices. It's not fair for me to do that unless I'm putting out work that I'm really proud of. Like if I can keep doing type this for bigger pieces, hoods and bumpers and stuff, then I'll increase prices accordingly. But for now, I think I just want to get my hands on more film. So I would probably charge a little over cost of the film. So ping me. Let's see what we can do. Thanks. All right, good afternoon. So got a little project today. So this is my S4. I wanted to put some paint protection film, PPF, on the leading edge of the roof. So for that, I have I cut a piece of roll. This is Suntek Ultra. So this is Suntek's 10-year film. It's the same film I have on the front of the car. So I have the full hood, bumper, headlights, mirrors, and B-pillars wrapped already. So I just want to, get some protection on the top. Now I do have already, like a, half-inch, decent sized rock chip when I earlier got the car last year. So I filled it in with touch-up paint. We did the best I could. We wet sanded it, try to get smooth. But this will help with preventing hopefully future rock chips. So for tools, we're going to use a soap solution. So this is 3 drops of Johnson's baby shampoo and distilled water. Alcohol solution. So 4 ounces alcohol, 16.5 of distilled water. We have 2 different size turbo. Okay, so here we are next to the car. We're just looking at just the overlap of the film, right? So we have, it's about a 4 foot. I think this is maybe 10 inches wide now. Get the zoom. There it goes. So all of our edges are down. Obviously next we'll have to trim. There's still some residual water in this front part we need to deal with. But most of it's all there. So here's the driver's side, right? So there's all of our excess. We'll trim once we get the film down and it's tacked up. And then same thing along here. So we're still getting a little bit of moisture behind the film. And then it's this body line, right? So it's this body line that we'll trim against, and then I'm coming up about here. So we'll trim along the sunroof and we'll trim along the front top of the windshield. All right, so let's check in where we're at. So, it's like 90% there. I've been installing PPF since like June. I've done a handful of, smaller installs. I've done a couple hoods and bumpers. Obviously, those are bigger. What I've found with PPF is, you can do like 80% of it in the first, 20 minutes of the job, and then it's the last 10, 15%, that takes the most time. So in this case, the film's down. It's good. I'm happy with it. I want the film around the sunroof to dry, as well as around the edges. I'm waiting for that to dry. Once it dries, it'll tack up, and I'll be able to, it'll lay down, and we'll be done with it. So, part of what I learned with PPF is, there's a time to mess with it, and there's a time just to let it dry. So if you're dealing with certain edges and they're just not laying down, you can sit there for 10 minutes and keep squeegeeing at it and spraying alcohol, and it's just not going to lay. That's because it needs to tack up. So before I start cutting anything, I want to try to show some restraint, and I want all those pieces to dry out. So at this point, I'm just going to let it sit for a minute. Give it 10 minutes or so. It's it's probably 70 degrees in here right now, so it shouldn't be too long. But I think if anyone's like new to PPF or wants to try it, pieces like this are a great way to get in. You don't it's like $40 worth of film. You're not invested too much in it, but be patient. So let it dry. I'll come back in a couple minutes and see what's next. Let's see if this focuses. So, right here is the edge of the film. It's going this way, and then I've trimmed it along this body line all the way down. So it's really tough to see. You can see the front. So if anything, get that to focus. All right, so I want this little corner to lay down better. But both sides are on there. Both sides are trimmed. So, let's see if that works. All right, so let's close this out. So, I'm actually very happy with how this turned out. Now, I know it seems like a relatively straightforward install. It's basically a flat piece. I think what I'm trying to work on, what I, want to strive to improve is, the last 5% of the PPF install, which is, you know, the super fine details, the wrapping where you can, you know, getting the edges super clean, nice, good cuts. So, you know, what started with a bulk roll, we did very minimal stretch just to contour the top of or to match the contour of the top of the roof. You know, we cut along the sides, cut along the front, and I'll show in a second, but, you know, I left, you know, just a little bit on the front, top of the windshield, so that I could wrap the front edge. And then same thing around the sunroof. Now, I never used the sunroof, so I wanted to get that wrapped, and actually, you know, the pressure of the sunroof against the film is just going to, you know, keep it super taut, you know, which is great. You know, the thing when we say like wrapping film, you know, it's especially with Suntek. You know, I know, you know, based off my experience, 3M's glue is way more stickier than Suntek. You know, so that's a trade-off. Now, I was able to get, you know, the film that's on the paint, you know, super flat, no glue lines, you know, nothing, which I probably would have experienced with 3M. You know, I'm struggling with that aspect with 3M. But then when it comes to the edges, you know, 3M would have stuck better because of the higher glue. So to remedy that, you know, we use a heat gun. You know, so it's pretty short. You work in little sections. Hopefully the video preceding, you know, captured it, but, you know, you're holding the heat gun, you know, a couple feet out, you know, 7 seconds per, you know, little section. You'll start to see the film respond to it. Pull the heat away. I got this kind of vinyl and tint kind of toolkit off eBay. You know, but these nice little hard edges are perfect where you can, you know, flatten down the wrapped edges. You know, so that's how, you know, we essentially have, you know, invisible lines on the front mat. So let me try to zoom in and we'll, you know, show the finished product. But it's been 24 hours, or not 24 hours, but it's been overnight now since we're done. So it's, you know, it's on there. All right, so we're starting on the driver's side. I just want to show the back line, right? So this line right here, if we can get this thing to zoom, you know, it's probably about the most, well, it's really the only area you're going to see is these lines on either side. And we're getting no zoom at all. Right, so here's the body line, right? So we did a hand cut with our scalpel inside this line, so that hides it nice. And then along the front, this is where we wrap the edge, right? So we used the heat gun, we waited for it to dry, and then we used the heat gun to, you know, heat up little sections at a time, and then we use those hard tools. Right, so here's the hard tool, and then we would use this, and we would just, you know, wrap the edge and get it to stick along the inside. You know, same story with the sunroof. Obviously the sunroof was open yesterday. You know, we heat up little pieces and then we're able to wrap the edge over. So that leaves us with a, you know, super clean install, which is great. And then, you know, brought back sufficient coverage. I think what I like to do at some point is get some of the S-Tech film and play with that, but, you know, we're just kind of messing around with some Suntek that I have. Same thing on the passenger side, right? There's our focus. This thing's terrible. But there's our glue line. Well, not our glue line. There's the end of the film line. Tucked it in the body. Same story. We wrapped the front. We wrapped the